What's up, everybody?
Hey, Coach. We'll just jump straight into questions here, and we'll start with Brandon Gibson from Rivals.
Coach, was including spring break in spring camp intentional, and how do you see the players using that time?
Yeah, it was everything we do is intentional. There was some stuff kind of already set up from a schedule standpoint, from an academic opening up, and then it also allowed us to take advantage of, the beginning of this week from a time standpoint. But right now we just told our guys, look, you're about to have discretionary week and then have spring break. So how do we utilize these next 2 weeks to continue to move forward instead of moving back? So our guys have to be deliberate with their time. Really have to be aware of what they're doing moving forward. And I think they'll do a good job of that.
James.
Dan, with Forsyth, Harper, and Dennis either out or limited at the moment, just how has that impacted the CQ element these first couple of practices, and do you expect Forsyth back without limitation after break?
Yeah, I think we'll get a lot of these guys back, relatively soon. But it's certainly impacted. But what it's allowed us to do is work other people at those positions and continue to improve.
Eric.
Coach, it seemed like Bo and Jay and Ty and all of them, there's kind of a collaborative working together of kind of pointing out things they were seeing out there. Obviously, you probably like that from your group. I wonder just kind of what you've seen from them and kind of how they've worked together, and maybe just Bo's veteran experience and how that maybe shapes the room for you guys.
I think we have a mature group. You look out there and you want competitive toughness. You want guys that go out there and work every single day to get better. But the reality is they also realize they can make each other better if they share their knowledge and share what they see. So they're doing a good job of that.
Zach Neal.
Coach, position battles are something you're going to be dealing with this spring and this summer. I'm curious as a coach how you go about that. Are you someone that updates them regularly on where they stand? Do you kind of check in with them once a week or so, or kind of let them feel it out along the way?
I think the meeting room updates guys on where they stand. They know if they're doing things right or doing things wrong based on how they're evaluated every single day in practice. One thing that's our job as coaches is to teach and give immediate feedback. So we're teaching every single day. We're giving immediate feedback after practice, during practice, and before the next practice. So that's our goal, and our guys realize where they stand because of that.
Matt Preem.
Yeah, Dan, what do you look at when you come off the field? What, like today, what's the one thing or the things you want to go watch film on, good or bad? Just what stood out today to you?
Efficiency is always number one for me as far as how we operated. Can we be more efficient with our time? Last practice we came off the field saying we need to be better in our transitions. We're keeping ourselves on the field longer than we need to be. And our guys did a much better job of that. So we're picking a goal each day that we can be better at as we move. Also to making sure that we get guys enough reps at enough different positions. So that's something we continue to evaluate is our rep count at each spot. Our guys getting to work at multiple spots and how that affects them moving forward.
Jared Denny.
Yeah, Coach, I'm curious with Jeffrey Bossa being listed at inside linebacker. I know you said a lot of guys are going to have kind of position fluidity, but what do you see from him that makes you kind of think that's a good fit for him there?
Yeah, intelligent, smart. I think inside linebackers nowadays, there's no such thing as a true Mike backer anymore. You have to have speed on the field. He's a guy that can be sideline to sideline, has the athleticism of a DB, but has the physicality of a linebacker. And, all good linebackers nowadays can run. And, Jeff has that trait.
Dylan Rubin King, Coach Digest.
Coach, I'm curious about Popo. I heard that he was still in a sling after that surgery. I believe he had close to the Alamo Bowl. Is he going to be ready to go? Through after break?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part. He's still going through rehab right now.
James.
Dan, curious, when you make the move that you do and you're now at the head of the table and coaching the coaches and running the meetings is a big part of the job now as much as on the field. Take us into the room a little bit. Just what have these last 72 hours or so, what is these pre-practices, post-practices, and that element of the job that you just haven't done before? What does that look like? And who has influenced the way that you've run those meetings in that way most by way of the coaches you've worked for previously?
Yeah, I still just lean on the experience that I've had with, the coaches I've been with in the past, whether it be Coach Saban, Coach Smart, Coach Norvell, Coach Graham, just all those guys. And I think one of the biggest things I learned from good head coaches is they coach the coaches too. right? And there's different methods to doing that. But if we want to improve our players, we have to get better as coaches. And I'll say this, our coaches are super receptive. They're all really great teachers. That's something we pride ourselves on. But I'm looking at our position meetings. I like to sit in a lot of different position group meetings. I like to travel on the field from individual group to individual group or team period to team period. And I'm going to continue to do that, try to find the flaws and places that we can grow.
Eric?
Kind of touched on it there. I'm curious though, obviously this is your first time doing this. What about like the self-evaluation process and kind of maybe where you can grow? You talk about the team needing to improve here or there, but what about for you over the next, I guess, 2 weeks before you guys get back together?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every day I write down notes of something I did bad that I can get better at. And I challenge our coaches to identify something I can improve on as well. This is a learners and growers environment. That's our staff. So if there's something we can do better, I'm not a guy that wants a bunch of yes men around me. I want to make sure that we can improve. If there's something we can do better in a better way, we want to do that. And at the end of the day, I have veto power, and we might or might not. But we're going to listen and try to adjust on the fly. And it's not just about our players getting better. It's about our coaches getting better. It's about myself getting better. Creating some of those move the field environments where we have to coach on the fly and operate. I think that's really important as we go through practice to practice.
Matt?
Do you want to, I know this is a long way out, but do you want to scrimmage at all before the spring game? I guess just how are you figuring ways to do evaluations of 11 on 11 or 11 on air or 7 on 7? Just what ways can you find ways to do those types of evaluations before the spring game?
Yeah, we have our 15 practices already kind of mapped out, the structure of those, what they'll look like. We'll have, 2 scrimmage days in there that'll be really, exclusive scrimmage days. We'll work some special teams on those days as well. But every single day in practice, we're going to have 11 on 11 periods, whether it be tackle or not, that's different, right? But we'll compete, we'll thud, we'll have different tempos that we operate with throughout spring based on, the timing of spring, but we do have that laid out already.
James?
Dan, an idea of just what the next 2 weeks look like. I know recruiting is certainly a big part of it, but you've already done the in-state coaching clinic and that stuff. So just what does the 2 weeks look like for the staff more so than the players in terms of, is it all recruiting centric? Is it seeing family? what goes on the next 2 weeks for you guys?
Yeah, we'll definitely focus first this next week on professional development. And more than anything, there's a lot of knowledge within our staff that I think we can share with each other. Meaning, hey, the offense coaching the defense on something they see. I think it's a great opportunity for us to do some cross the ball projects against each other, and then also do some projects within our own rooms where coaches can share some ideas of how they've done things differently. We really haven't had as much time as people might think for those kind of opportunities. Also, certainly an opportunity to be great dads and great husbands. We're looking for that. And you don't just talk about it, you got to be about it.
We have time for a couple more. So we'll go Eric and then Brandon to end it.
You mentioned a couple scrimmage opportunities. Past staffs have made efforts to go to Portland and kind of showcase the team in front of that group of the fan base. Is that something that is a part of the plan either now or in the fall?
It could be a plan in the future. Right now, it's not part of the plan.
Eric just got my question. I was going to ask the same thing. So
Good question.
Time for one more then. James?
To the offensive part of the install, Dan, and obviously Kenny talked about being a pro style up tempo and that stuff. How much, I'm going to say autonomy, I understand he's going to run it, but is implementation of purely what he's doing, and what is it exactly in terms of, I know the HUNH tree and I've read the book. I know the terminology. So how much of it is that and what Mike and Gus did by way of philosophy, and how much is adjustments from either what he would like to do or what you would like from this offense to be?
Yeah, I think we continue to tweak it to fit our personnel. Kenny has a plan along with Junior that they kind of mapped out together. Our whole offensive staff is really working together to map out what that's going to look like, but it's all based on our personnel. Like, I love play action shots, right? But at the end of the day, you better be able to protect the quarterback for play action shots. We got a good offensive line, but that plan has to work together. I like the ability to run the ball, but we have to figure out what runs fit our scheme the best. It's going to carry a lot of the pieces that he's obviously been involved in, but part of that professional development next week is what wrinkles can we add to our system to make us better moving forward. So all that'll add up, and I think it'll give us the evolution of what our 2022 offense looks like.
That's all the time we have. Thanks for your time, Coach.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.